We want CHAMPvinchi. We want CHAMPvinchi. We want CHAMPvinchi. He's so lit. We want CHAMPvinchi. We want CHAMPvinchi. We want CHAMPvinchi. President Trump, listen. Who do they want? We want CHAMPvinchi. We want CHAMPvinchi. We want CHAMPvinchi. Thank you for all of your support. And today we go ahead and lock in that VP because there's a lot of amazing things. We're going to turn the slavery systems to where America comes first, and then we help grow the world that way. We have been robbed accidentally. We just missed the fact that we were being robbed by systems, and nobody had a plan until then. Also, President Trump has done an amazing job as a former liberal. Here's one thing that we've realized, that in history, the best Republicans are former liberals, and that's what President Trump and I both are. And President Trump, I can drain that liberal swamp. You've gone right over into the GOP and look at all the GOP people, senators and stuff dropping out. And the liberal media is trying to act like they're running away, that they're running away from being Republican. Well, I can tell you what, they're not running away. They're just making space for the Democrats that are about to switch over and become Republicans. The thing I really like about the Republican Party is even though they can be jerks sometimes, they love to win. And winning is fun, and that's what we're here to do. But this is Martin Luther King Day, and there are things that Jesus spoke about, Billy Graham spoke about, Martin Luther King spoke about, John F. Kennedy spoke about, and that your next VP, President, Reverend, Sheriff, Dr. CHAMPvinchi Nichols Lee Sutton is about to speak about, except for this time, we're going to do something about it. If you would, join me in the Lord's Prayer, and say it like you mean it. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses, as we must forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Stand, take off your hats. As your current sheriff of the planet, next VP, the goal is MAGA, making America great again, and motherfucker. Let's go ahead and say the Pledge of Allegiance, hats off, hand over the heart. And when we say one nation under God, we now do that now. And we say this thing like we mean it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And that's what we're about to bring, because I've stolen the signs of the enemy. And in the name of Jesus Christ, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, we now have the signs of the enemy. And through Nicodemus and through the CHAMPvinchi and through the lit life-improving technologies, my brain has been able to comprehend what it is that's been beating our butts here in America. We are in first place as a country. And you know why we're in first place as a country? Because we had the guts to do a few things. We had the guts to separate from the tyranny that was going on over in England. And we had the guts to be what they called poor and what they called criminals, and to rise up and to show that it is not those of tyranny that want to hold down mankind that is causing the problem. Then we united, and then we broke away from England. And then after that, the Emancipation Proclamation, we decided we were going to be the country that stopped slavery. But after that, as Martin Luther King spoke about, first he had a dream, and that's what comes first. But his last speech was his best, or his last sermon was his best one. And that's the one I want to talk about today. So what we have is, yes, we broke slavery, so why are we still struggling? Because when we broke slavery lasted 240 years, so 244 years. So I think if I do my math right, that'll be 2,106 or 7 would be 244 more years. But we're going to go ahead and just make an agreement that on 3, 4, 2, 1, We are going to shock the world with a new freedom. We are calling freedom from the rest of the world and the financial slavery systems. That's how our nation was built. So let's not be too mad about it, because we're about to go build other nations in similar ways, yet without the hate and without the pain. We have learned the past repeats itself, but this time we don't repeat the same mistakes. It is 2020 and we've asked for new vision. I would consider myself the WMLK, the white Martin Luther King of today, and you may seem that to be funny right now, but just wait until you hear about this plan. In Martin Luther King's last sermon, what he talked about was about Divus in the Bible. Divus, which isn't a specific man. Divus is a generalized term for a rich man. And remember, the Bible talks a lot about how the rich man, only a few rich men will get into heaven. All right? Only the Bible talks about that, but no rich people pay attention to that, because it's normally the rich people in government, it's normally the rich people at the pulpit, it's normally the rich people running your towns and your cities and the municipalities, because they have the money and they get elected because they can afford to run for office, which is fine. They're still our brothers and sisters, but this is a warning for you. Today on Martin Luther King Day, it is this part of the Bible that he talked about. All right, so this goes back to the story of Lazarus. And as I've told you all, in many ways, I don't have sores all over my body, but I have sores from the emotional and psychological and socialistic and slavery style systems that we lived in, just like all of you other and my fellow Americans have as well. So we can call those our sores because it hurts. But in terms of 38 years old, just waiting for that one man to hear me, and President Trump, I hope that'll be you today, sir. I have a lot of good we're going to do, and you're going to really love my message, my heart, and all the liberals and Democrats that are about to switch sides to follow us, because together we're going to build a bridge from the wall that you put up, the wall against extreme Republicans, and I'm going to be the one that puts up a wall against the extreme Democrats. I know how to do that. So in the message of Lazarus, so I'm going to switch hats. It's a little bit cold in my fifth pair of wireless earbuds in 9 days. Here. It's kind of dangling, so I got to keep them in my ears. All right, so Martin Luther King, what he was talking about is the other part of the story of Lazarus. So for all of the pastors out there who have collected the poor man's money, which that's your job, you're just doing your job, I love you. I'll probably make money that way one day too. All right, I get it, I understand. But here's the warning to you and to me. I just got mine ahead of time. It's called provision. All right, and also the parts of my brain that allow the other concepts to sink into, which is why I don't try to teach any of these with hate. But here's one thing I do have to tell you. You're going to hell if you don't change your ways. All the rich and all the people are going to hell if you don't complete the great commandments. This is what Martin Luther King was talking about. This is what Jesus was talking about. This is what the Bible is about. This is what the New Testament is about. And this is what our new vision is going to be about. The story of Lazarus. The rich have always told us that it was us. It was us sitting around not wanting to get up. I mean, can you imagine just being the lazy bum Lazarus was, wanting to get well, and you just pick yourselves up by your bootstraps? But that was a problem that Martin Luther King talked about as well. The white man came over, and as we were freed from oppression in England, and then also from overtaxation, and also from being enslaved to a system that creates poverty, a socialistic and a kings and queens type system. All right, so with the white man came over, pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps, destroyed the American Indians. I do have a talk for you all coming up soon. Love you. And God bless you. Please forgive us. I hope we can repent for that and for the slavery over the blacks. 3:4:21, follow me, and the white man will step back into your world and help release, repent, and repay all the minorities and all the people that we've hurt. But that also means the poor white man as well. Follow me, because this is why. It is okay, and we must forgive the past, as the Lord's Prayer says. But here's the warning. This is the reason Martin Luther King got shot. It wasn't the dream that one day we would all be able to walk together because we are walking together. That dream come true. But the reason he got shot was because of this. Because in the book of the Bible, and I'm sure in those times it was saying the same thing, the story about Lazarus in a nation that was building themselves up, in a nation that had just freed slavery, in a nation that needed the black community who had not been given education for hundreds of years, and they hadn't been taught how to own their own businesses, hadn't been taught, and we just tossed them out. And that's why it's been such a struggle. But to give the white man a break, we didn't know how to handle that either. It was the first time we you know, blacks sold blacks to us. We enslaved them like a bunch of pharaohs and a bunch of jerks. But then some good white men, some good black men, some good white women, some good black women. Harriet Tubman, I love you, baby. We're going to do something to honor you. I'm not sure what, but we're going to do something to honor you. I'll make sure of that. I would also consider myself a male Harriet Tubman of today, because what I am bringing to you, both in lit life-improving technologies and the message of Jesus and the message that we need to turn this system on its my fucking head, make America fun and cool again and rich. Sorry, a future thought came to mind, so it paused me. I got a funny song coming for you in a couple of days. But this is why it is important. This is, and here's the thing. We're not going to hurt the rich. This plan helps everybody. But the story of Lazarus has been taught to us. I've been to hundreds of churches because I traveled a lot. Not because I was going around, you know, I'm not an Amway person and nothing wrong with that. But if you like the Amway system, whoo, you're going to like the new vision. You're going to like the new system of earn your keep. It is a grind, and a community rise up. When your community goes to work, your community does good. So here we go. Let's get back to the Bible. So Lazarus, it's always been taught, look at that lazy man by the pool. I mean, couldn't he have at least rolled over in there? And that's kind of the white man's approach. And you know, then the breaking of the slavery, the black leaders that stepped up, they had to act like the white leaders to fit in, which is just what it was. And plus, getting up off your butt and getting going is what we got to do no matter what color we are, no matter what gender, no matter what race, no matter what religion. Get up, find work, praise the Lord. All right, so, but here's the other side of the story. And this is why many of you are going to hell. And when I become VP, here's what we're going to do. We're going to offer forgiveness for the use of the system that's in place that I spoke about 2 parts ago. With the financial system we're in, how to get in power, you have to go make illegal deals that are illegal in the American law system to get in power, to keep us from getting stolen from other countries. And so, but here's what's happening. A warning to all the rich people out there, and a warning to many, many, many Republicans out there, is that in the story of Lazarus, that story was never, ever, 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 ever written to be about the man that couldn't do anything. That's who Jesus loves. The Bible talks over and over and over about. Jesus is with the weak. I talked about it on the Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are those who are poor. Blessed are those who are this. Blessed are those, and it's all about the weak. So it's easy for the weak people to get into heaven, but for the majority of rich people are going to hell. And this is why. In the story, the real story, the more broad story, not just the Pharaoh hate story or the poor old victim story of Lazarus, that boo sheep, but in the real story of Lazarus, the parable that was really supposed to be seen is a warning to the rich, is an instruction to governments like President Trump and I, for leaders of how we are supposed to handle the people. And thirdly, it is a message that if you can at least ask for help, and that if once we give you help, because CHAMPvinchi wants you, that once you get the help we need, you got to get up and get going. And that's how we earn our keep, earn your keep. So Davis is considered the rich man. So the thing Jesus hated the most, imagine Pharaoh, rich. All the people, rich. And once somebody gets rich, you go from being one to two. All right, part of that is the attacks across that people have on the rich, but it makes sense because the system keeps running us back into poverty, keeps running us back into overtaxation, keeps running us back into everything. And this is exactly what Jesus came and wanted us to know, that we must love our brothers and sisters. And the story about Lazarus is actually a warning to Davis. Divus is a term just known as the rich man. But Divus walked past that poor man, just like all the preachers who've been out there telling you, and all the leaders, well, you just need to get off your lazy butt. You just need to get this, and you can hear them walking by. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And in the American system, you can still hear 60 to 75% of our population, the shackles on our hands, the shackles on our wallets, the shackles on our feet as we come by, because we are still enslaved to a system. Oh, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. So all of these things that I'm giving you, I'm having to do it like the Underground Railroad, just of the past, because that's why I've had to run it through the churches and all the way straight to the presidency. Because it's the only way we're going to get out of the cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching slavery. But this is going on both sides. So Jesus and the Bible was trying to teach the rich. I need some water. I'm so passionate, and I'm on a fast. I got a little dizzy. Plus, I think the wind chill factor makes it about 24 out here. But I love you. I'm American. We can handle anything. All right, back to freedom at hand. So, the parable of Lazarus isn't about the poor, pitiful man. You're going to hell if you think it is. Because he didn't have to do anything. Jesus didn't have to have him do anything until he got a little help. So don't be mad at the people selling weed or doing these things, trying to stay alive on their block. Because until we do something, they are Lazarus. And it isn't on Lazarus. America, it's on us. We're the richest, most powerful country in the world. And our nation and our country is going to hell right now. And it's happening like this when brothers and sisters fight. All the warnings in the entire Bible, all the things that our Constitution stands for and stood for, is about this topic. How do the rich and the poor get along? I've got a plan. So it keeps talking about every day the rich man will walk by the poor man. Oh, just pull yourself up by your bootstraps in a system that it doesn't work. Does it look like it's working? Even Christians murder themselves, kill themselves. Famous pastors' kids all over the place. Every town in America. Every 17 minutes, ba-boom, there goes another Christian. Every 22 minutes, you say you love America. You say you stand up for them. You're mad at Kaepernick for taking a knee. Well, you're going to hell for not helping me lower suicide rates for American soldiers. What are you doing about that? Hee-haw. Today that ends. 3/4/21. Ring the Liberty Bell. Because we're not going to let America go to hell. Because CHAMPvinchi wants you. And who are you? Let me explain who you are. On this bridge of a new America. It's a JC, Jesus first, Christianity or religion second, or a Jedi nation. It is time to rise up on this side of the bridge. Here's who we need. We need the rich. We need the Republicans. The divas, or we'll call you the divas. We need the poor. I want you, poor. CHAMPvinchi wants you that are addicted to the system that's made you addicted. Those of you that are in the wealthy of the wealthy, the evangelicals, CHAMPvinchi wants you, because if not, you're going to hell, because these systems that we live in do not help our brothers and sisters. And this is the same thing that Martin Luther King stood for. It's the same thing that WMLK, 3, 2, 1, boom, we're calling financial independence. And independence, 3, 4, 2, 1, we're going to shock the world. We're going to ring that Liberty Bell, because I've stolen the signs of the past. I've stolen the signs of the slave owners. I've stolen the signs of what we're going to do. We're going to put that system right inside of our own. And guess what? MAGA motherfucker. USA get paid. MAGA motherfucker. USA get paid. MAGA motherfucker. USA get paid. So let's go back. How does this earn your key? Eat. Work. So what if your block The same blocks, and we're talking mostly to the poor right here, but we're also talking to the rich. You know those people, hey rich man, hey divas, you know those poor people on your block that you mad about because they selling weed and they trying to make a hustle because nobody can hire them because the system, they went to jail early. You know the education system is still running over. I once asked my mother, when will the black culture get over slavery? She said, well, however long we kept them in slavery, I guess it's only fair for them to stay angry that long, but we have a new plan and you don't have to do that. Come with me. CHAMPvinchi wants you, black America. We will do something. You come with me, you make the sound to President Trump that you want me. We're in and we'll change the system because that man loves the country, but we just haven't had a plan with a system, with somebody that's done 251 medical miracles in a row to impress the Christians enough, to impress the rich, to help the poor, to have a system. And it all became by renewing my mind. Just like Jesus said, we need a total renewal of your mind so you don't go to hell. It's a thin bridge. Pharaohs over here, socialists over here. Well, there's a bridge where we meet. I ask all of you, WMLK, ask you to join me, walk across this bridge together. And how do we do it? Instead of a system that we get stole on, that's what our political system is. McConnell's, Pelosi's, Clinton's, Bush's, all this, they're just Americans. They're just Americans. They just doing what their time's called for. They have made the steps here. But what we have watched in our recent past, even as we keep getting better, is the arguments of how do we keep world peace so World War III doesn't happen. Well, guess what? We entered World War III yesterday because World War III is an invisible war. Because right now, we have gotten the name of Jesus across the entire world. In the next 12 years between President Trump, myself, VP, President, Reverend Dr. CHAMPvinchi Nichols Lee Sutton, America's #1 pastor, Pastor Jensen Franklin. He's going to turn the jets of sin, which is what it used to be looking at the Lazarus story, to the jets of the sun, so that the rich and so that the preachers don't go to hell. Sir, we must turn this around. We must. If not, people like you and people like a lot of the other people out here who have thought, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and who have had the spiritual warfare, because you do have to get people to get up. And you're talking to people that are depressed, so your message is good, but the system is wrong. And to the poor people out there, we can't just sit around. It's time to rise up. Because yes, we can. Eat. So earn your keep. Let's get back to this. Blocks in Americans is one thing we do is we're a great team. That's why we're #1 in the world. USA. Another thing is Christians. We are also one team. JCUSA. Also, Americans, non-Christian Americans. Let's say like JJ's, Jesus Jews, JB's, Jesus Buddhists, JM's, Jesus Muslims, JO, Jesus others. But here's the deal with the EAT system. This is what we need. This is exactly what we need. So why would someone want to stop doing what's bad to make something work? So that's the Lazarus. So why would the divas want to do something different so they can make more money? How do we do that? So instead of a system that taxes us, we need to incentivize. Instead of taxing America, we're going to invest into America. Okay? And then we're going to continue to support the world, but by supporting its #1, we are the world's #1 leader of how not to blow the world up. But right now, we are in World War III, 2, 1. We're calling independence from it. We're calling it on 3/4/21. Because right now we're in World War III. 50% or more of all Americans, the richest, smartest, and supposedly best health, in the world has mud brain, from the poisons of the wars of the past, from the pesticides, just from a lot of things we haven't known, and from living in the slavery systems that we're still in, that we brought over from England, and we brought from the Bible times, the same systems that hung Jesus on the cross, the same ones that you must fight over the same money, because it's all being ripped out to go to the rich, to go to more of the rich. And I'm not against that. I want to be one of them. But we have a new leader in town, and the Earn Your Keep is going to incentivize, so that way we're going to increase, we're going to take the increase and the healthcare systems and put it on the people, but we are going to demand that the employers, but we're going to take the health care off them, but we're going to raise the minimum wage. At the same time, we are going to, with the arm of Trump, we're going to force people to keep the costs down so that this increase in pay doesn't repeat its system. But here's how we're going to do it. How do we make our government part of this? We got to put them on a commission basis, because when we do good, they do good. It's earn y'all keep. And so why would a person, instead of wanting to go around and just pop out more babies to get more money from the government, why do they want to get to work? Because it will pay them more to do that. We incentivize progress here. We don't enslave it. So what's the difference in the old system and the new, and how does it work? How do we get people across the bridge without fighting against each other? Well, it's actually really easy. We commission-based local governments and national governments. And so that way, when your block's doing things that we will agree on, maybe we'll have an constitution, an earn your keep economics, to where when you see a young man out there doing something like slinging cocaine or being hooked on heroin or whatever it may be, and it's like this: if less people die on cocaine, if less people die on heroin, because people are going to do whatever they're going to do, but arresting them and throwing them in jail ain't stopping anything. It's not. It's just messing up blocks. Then people don't have fathers. Then people don't have this. We got to incentivize them, protect them with life-improving technologies instead of catch and release, catch and treat, or catch and improve. That's what we're going to do. We put these technologies in jails. We'll have people come out being ready, being some of the next leaders of America. But we have to invest into America. This doesn't break the systems from beyond. We're going to add into education that sets the system up for success. So how do we ring the Liberty Bell? Remember, 3, 4, 21. Here's another fact I learned this morning. Did you know, and I bet you didn't, did you know, as I mentioned the other day, that the VP 1789, March 4th, my birthday is March 4th, 1981. On March 4th, 1789, on March 4, 1789, the vice presidency position was put into place. Do you know what also on March 4th, 1789 happened? The United States Constitution became effective. It had began in 1776, but it wasn't effective until 1789. Martin Luther King, in his last speech, said that we held slaves for 244 years. If you take year 2020 minus 240 years, you know what that gives you? 1776. How about it's time for new vision? How much more could it speak to us that on 3, the executive branch, judicial branch, congressional branch, those 3 become the 3 that run the world right now. How do we add the American people? How do we make 3 become 4? We turn our system inside out to where we earn our keep. We incentivize people because we're hardest working people in the world. We should be the richest people in the world. And even if we are right now, we can help the rest of the world, but we can't do it, and our government ain't big enough to do it. Our government cannot manage all of us because we're not doing a good job of it. So the way we do it is we incentivize local areas and put the powers back into the states, into the cities, but more so into the people. With the 3 branches, get a 4th one. And that 4th branch, is the way that we walk through the Earn Your Keep, to where America's people get paid for showing up with work. America's people, those who get high school degrees, will have incentives. If you show up to work, you will get your portion of the increased salaries that we have to have. And not only that, but when you go to the grocery store, we're going to have savings, 3% increase on everything $1,000 or less. That goes to a direct savings in IRA of yours, that once you get to certain levels, you'll be able to help borrow against this to buy a home. You'll be able to do different things. You'll be able to have stocks and things that will not fall, such as insurance and these other cores of the American and world economies. We're going to help the health insurance companies help us get better while we help them make more money, while we make more money here ourselves. We're going to help the medical companies actually help people get better while everyone makes more money. Then we're going to take whatever we got here, and wherever we go, we're going to grow it. So on 3, 4, 2, 1, we're going to shock the world with the change. I'm going to ask President Trump, after all this court TV he's been through, which I think's just working right into his hands and the American hands, because he's going to be able to do a whole lot, and he's especially going to be able to do a whole lot because here's my promise to President Trump and to all of you. He went from being a liberal to being a Democrat. And here's what we know American history shows, is that the best Republicans are the former liberals, just like Ronald Reagan, just like President Trump, and just like CHAMPvinchi serves. So here's what we're going to do. President Trump, I'm going to drain the liberal swamp. The ones that have put you on court TV, sha-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na, hey, 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 goodbye socialism. Because what President Trump did, and here's to the Republicans over there, what President Trump's already did, he was liberal for 64 years of his life. But what the Clintons and all of them saw in the background, I'm just going to go ahead and call it out, is that a lot of the Tea Party had become very angry. I'm not against any of the humans. They had to stand up for the Constitution. And remember, whatever pulls us this way makes us America. But we got to quit being bipolar and fly together like flocks. How are we going to get them? We're going to flock them up. How are we going to get President Trump to make CHAMPvinchi his VP? We're going to flock. We're going to make some noise and say, sir, 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 we like him. Can I bring the black Americans over to vote Republican? In Jesus Christ's name, it is done. President Trump, just to show you something, it may look silly. I'll dress way better in the White House. I'm just out here getting some exercise. But I got my nice outfit on. Let's see. I got my J's on. President Trump and I, President Trump, I can ball. I know how to help all the American soldiers. I've helped 251 people in a row. And I've got a financial plan that is MAGA motherfucker USA. There's nothing President Trump and I want more than to be the two greatest presidents of all time. To be the tag team champions of the world, because we love you. And now we have two former liberals that are going to help join the parties with healthcare plans, with financial plans that are coming, with Christian foundations that love and lift up other religions as well. And if you're a light bearer around the world, we don't care what religion you are, as long as we can share Jesus, and as long as you quit oppressing women and children around the world and quit raping women and children around the world. That's why we're going to quadruple our forces, and not our traditional military force. We're going to keep increasing that. Thank God President Trump's helped us back with that. But we're going to employ both an invisible army, of which I will be running. We will win World War III on your minds and on our technologies and on the evil principalities that have one last chance to rip us all off. So what we are going to do to the for the younger generations, I need you to get behind me. All the young people in your houses, black young men, white young men, Native American young men, Asian young men and women. All this is young men and women. If I make a mistake, I know we're in the time today. We go beep, 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 beep. Please forgive me. But we can use our beep, 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 beep. I want you to, how do we get rid of racism? If you think about it, racism is tied to making money. That's how we raised America. we had indentured servants, we had that. So in many ways, the same, when you go to work and you have bosses ahead of you, it's the same paid system. The problem with slavery is that you owned a human. That system that built America without the pain, without the change, is a system of how you grow a country. It's how you do it. Indentured servants, a pyramid system. That's how business works. But that pyramid must build back into people so that we can complete the second law, so that the divas don't go to hell. Because Jesus said to complete the greatest commandment, it's one thing to say yes to him. But are you doing what he told us to do, America? Are we doing what our forefathers told us to do? Have independence? Are the 75% of you out there still going paycheck to paycheck? Don't forget about the Great Recession we went in, where we went from being a rich America to completely broke. We're just now getting caught up from that. It's been a long time. We've made peace around the world. So did you know, Martin Luther King talked about this, that when he gave his last sermon, check out this fact. America, the GOP that doesn't like spending money, all right? But then you have the socialists that don't want to kill terrorists. Like, what? Did you know that in Martin Luther King's last speech, that at that point in time, one missile cost $500,000? So can you imagine how much war costs and how much we're spending on weapons, but we're not spending on Americans? But we can't switch out the money. Here's what's been wrong. We've been fighting over the same money because America makes money, but we don't save it. And that's when this changes. President Trump, we can turn this system inside out, and we're going to change the whole thing. You think Dubai, that's the country I was talking about the other day. Dubai, everybody look up Dubai. Dubai is where we've been making peace and a lot of the rich people. So we're turning deserts into beautiful big cities and doing different things, which I think is amazing. And I think for the Middle East and all these people that have more of desert countries, instead of us blowing you up, let's just give you a place somewhere to go ride out your days and be rich. I'm good with that. But sir, America needs reconstruction. Have you seen the roads around America? There are orange cones everywhere. We need to teach people how to make roads better, because for some reason we can't get a road done in America. For 10 years, I was in NASCAR, and we raced in Dallas, Texas, or around Dallas, Texas, twice a year. There were more orange cones there than there were people. I live in Lanier Islands, Georgia, which is the Bible Belt of the South, Republican USA. And here at Lanier Islands, which is a beautiful place, we've been fixing the roads for like 3 or 4 years. What's the problem? I don't know what the problem is, but we're not accomplishing work at the rates we used to accomplish work. If we built railroad tracks from here across America, oh, don't you know that's the sound of the men working on the chain. Yeah, yeah. Hi-ho, hi-ho, it's off to work we go. That's what America's built on. It's built on work, and it's built on freedom. And right now, America, it is not the people. It's not President Trump, because it doesn't matter what side you're on. This side hates this side. This side hates this side. And they're not fighting for you. President Trump is, because he's stopping a lot of this nonsense. But he's still in a system that he has no choice than to do what he has to do to protect himself with the Ukraine phone call. Why would somebody do that? Because they're over there on the other side trying to steal the money of America and send it back overseas to other people. I'll make every phone call we got to stop that bull crap too. But I'm going to do it for you. Because those of you that are on your way to hell, I want you. I want you to come this way. And all of you that are sitting over there not doing enough, CHAMPvinchi wants you. And all of you that truly and really drugs are a better way than our system of the poverty right now, I want you. And for all of you out there, Black America, since it's Martin Luther King Day, I want you. So what are we going to do to the past? We're going to say, flock you. Everybody, flock you. Flock you. Flock University is what it's going to be. Because flocka. We're going to fly in and we're going to get our money back. We're going to get it all back. And we're going to get the freedom that everybody fought for, that the white man fought for, that the black man fought for, that the Native American fought for, that the Asian fought for, that the Hispanic fought for, that all the people that make up the beautiful rainbow of color of people here in America, that we all have fought for. We're bringing it back. We're bringing it all back. But instead of just 3 systems of government, we're going to have the 4th. And who is the 4th? It is you, and it is me. It is all of America. All we got to do is the same way that these systems has been robbing us. All we got to do is quit using a slavery and king and queen system. But yet the devil has tricked us to make the fights amongst us. And then we've got medicines that aren't working. And we got closed eye studies instead of open eye studies. But we can do this. But we haven't had the chance to make the money. And then we haven't had the world security and the world peace. So at Martin Luther King's time, he stood up when there was an opportunity to speak. And I'm standing up today that's saying that one nation under God, all colors, indivisible, with liberty, justice, and financial security. Because in America, we have the rights. And if there's one addition I would make, the pursuit of life, liberty, happiness, and financial freedom. It's been long enough, us being the richest people on the planet, the most powerful people on the planet, and still 75 to 80% of us running around broke. But this group wants that group to just hand it out. Flock you. Not happening. Sir, I'm going to drain the Democratic swamp. All the people that have made the Democratic Party crap, that just want to... It's to become the most racist party. The Republicans used to be, but now it's the liberals because they are forcing a gender in. They are forcing a colored person in. They are forcing this. Look, Cory Booker didn't even have 1% of even the black vote. What? Do you think you've missed it, Mr. Booker? I like you, man. But Mr. Booker, don't you think you've missed it? To the elitists, I'm going to show you Jesus. And if you don't come with us, you're going to hell. And if you don't, guess what you're going to be hearing? Flock, 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 flock you to the past. Flock, 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 flock. We're bringing the past. President Trump will have 80% of the vote. We'll have 80% of the vote. It's time for court TV to end. And not that court TV isn't fun. We'll keep having it. It's not like we're not going to eat it up like cowboys and Indians. But here's what we have. America flocked together to get across this bridge, because it is a narrow bridge, both in the mind, where we have on the left side, we have the pharaohs of the Republicans, and on the right side, we have the victims and slaves of the Democrats. And above each of those systems, you have the rich controlling this that don't want to give out the greed. But guess what? They want to get richer. That's okay. I want you. And they have the poor that just wants to beg for it, that doesn't have a system, that just has a culture of accepted that we used to be slow, we used to be slaves. Oh, it used to be, it's not fair, white man. You're going to hell if you don't stand up, because once we given the opportunities, and now that we're going to have a system that's working for you, so if you're the rich man that doesn't want your people to get rich here in America anymore, you're going to hell. Once I'm elected and you're the rich person still making deals over there that don't help us, you're going to jail. You over here who's sitting around and we're going to make a system that your whole block can rise up. Rise up, hood. Rise up, low-income America. Rise up, middle class. All we got to do is spend our money on you. So any of you out there that once this system's putting into place, that's still going to go around and shoot people in Chicago, still going to do all these things, you're going to jail and you're going to hell. And we might even just deport you. And for the people outside of here, those, the other scene, the dreamers, the Hispanic, we have a Hispanic culture that's just dying for freedom. We're bringing, I want you. We're going to help you be free too. But we will secure the gates. We're going to help build up North America. When they can help build up the areas to where people don't have to flood to America, it's going to be the closest place we go is next door. So Mexico, we're coming to help you guys. For the people who do your thing, we'll call it. In Mexico, we ain't worried about all that. We understand all that. Everyone receives freedom in the CHAMPvinchi plan, where 3 parts of the government become 4 with with a plan for the people, to where 2 parties, and to where slave owners and slaves become one. How soon can we do that? The second that you flock together. I want you to get on your phones. I want you to get on your local internet tweets, whatever you can do, and just let President Trump know that we will bring the blacks with us. We will bring the non-socialistic Democrats with us, because both of my parents are still Democrats. They work their butts off. Nobody's ever worked as hard as they have at all, period. I watched them fight paycheck to paycheck. They didn't get along a lot of the times. You know why? Not because they don't love each other, not because they're not both cool, but because they were still just pulling themselves up by the bootstraps. Well, guess what, America? CHAMPvinchi's going to pull America up by its bootstraps. And guess what? We're going to fill our boots full of money, and we're going to dance. I'm the only John Wayne left in this town. Freedom's coming. We're going to put up a new lighthouse at the White House with all colors so that we will never forget. It will have 4 sides so that the 3, how soon will we do this? It's going to take off like a rocket ship. In 3, 2, 1. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. I hear a Vanilla Ice song. Here, we'll just go with stop, collaborate, and listen. CHAMPvinchi's back with a brand new edition. Freeing slaves all over America. How we gonna do it? Gonna make a phone call. Flock you, flock you. If you wanna stay, if you wanna be a slave owner or a slave, what you gonna do? Flock you, flock you. How we gonna rise up? 3, 2, 1. So remember, 3, 4, 2, 1. We're gonna shock the world. We're gonna have the rich like President Trump, and we're gonna have the poor like CHAMPvinchi. And I'm bringing the poor, and he's bringing the rich, and we're going to meet on the bridge. And this bridge is the one into the new future, to where the line's been drawn in the rock. Time changes. Are you ready for change? Pray about new vision. Dream about new vision. Want new vision? Well, here it is, because it's part 58. Dang! We just ended hate.